Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to do a review on Bobbies. I don't know if you've seen them on Instagram. I have been getting a lot of ads from them, but I'm not really that mad because the first ad I got from them was Bethany. And as soon as I saw this, I knew I want it. So we're going to do a deep dive on Bobbies. This video is going to include the history of the brand, what the brand represents, the sustainable fashion section, any goodwills, any charities, and then we're going to go into the unboxing, the reviews, and then the potential material cost, and whether or not it is worth it. So let's go straight into the history of the brand. Before I start anything, I have to say I absolutely love how transparent Bobby is. Bobbies is probably the most transparent brand I have ever seen. The other brand that comes close is Soro, but they both got something in common, which is the packaging, which we will go into. Now, this brand started back in 2010. It focuses on shoes and leather goods. The design office is based in Paris, and the motto of the brand is human comes first, which I really actually love about it. Their style is capturing the unique essence of an effortless style and enhancing elegance with a well thought out lines and volumes. This contemporary vision associates minimalistic sophistications and vintage influences. That was a mouthful, but you get the idea. A very classic, timeless, sophisticated, minimalistic. I can never say that word correctly, but you get the idea. Less is more. Now, they are so transparent, they even mention about where they get their stuff manufactured. So all of their leather goods is manufactured with a specialist family workshop in Portugal. I'll leave the actual place, and they did say it's a traditional workshop, which initially I didn't know what that meant, but we are going to go through that. So essentially they manufacture their shoes in Portugal and their leather goods in Spain. Also worth mentioning that they are so transparent with the process of making each and every pair of these shoes, to the point where every single section of the making there is a manager and their name is on their website. It is absolutely insane. It's really, really nice how much pride and joy they have in their creation. So when it comes to traditional workshop, what I found out was it's basically the traditional way of making shoes. And it's essentially, I think it's basically a human scale, so it is not mass produced. And essentially the 5 steps include pattern making, cutting, stitching and painting, assembling and finishing. And each of these steps has a manager assigned to it. As you can see, they are so transparent. Even the names of the managers are shared online that are responsible for each of the process. The next up is the materials, and the leathers are certified from the Leather Working Group and are sourced from Italy, Spain, Portugal or France. The Leather Working Group assures a responsible production that saves energy, respects European regulation standards and puts in practice advanced methods that respects the environment. So just bear that in mind when it comes to sustainability as well. Soles and rubbers are composed 70% recycled rubber and 30% of natural Hevia rubber. I think that is a type of wood. Boxes are composed exclusively of paper from sustainable managed FSC certified forests. And that nicely leads to section 2, which is sustainable fashion. So as mentioned before, all of the materials are sourced locally, at least in terms of France, Paris. They are all from Italy, Portugal, Spain and France. The logistical center is integrated, and I thought this was really, really cool. In their own factory in Portugal, their Portuguese partners only need to travel a few kilometers to make the deliveries, and then they deliver it directly to all of the retailers by truck to avoid transition through a hub in France, so that they can reduce environmental impact even more for transporting their own product. Which now leads on to section 3, which are charities. I had no idea Bobbies are involved in so many charities. I'm not very up to date with any brands in terms of charities. However, Bobbies matches a customer donation to a Tree for You association, and this was set up back in 2019. Bobbies also organises 2 charities a year where profits are given to the associations, and I'm going to list all the associations here so you can have a look. But in summary, these covers helping streets children in Madagascar, providing children with qualified skills and professional training, education, personal needs, helping Lebanese retirees and children with financial difficulties, emergency response to Ukraine and supporting victims, preserve and improve our environment, rehabilitation in Armenia, hospitalized children, adults handicapped, and elderly people in nursing homes, support educate girls in Cambodia. So those are all the things that they are involved in. And on top of that, so far they have donated 80,351 euros up to this day. So it is currently in 2024. So now we are going to go into section 4, which is the unboxing and the reviews. So first glance, the box was pretty big. It was very nicely packaged. One thing I absolutely love with these types of boxes, not these types of boxes, but these kind of brand, is that they give you the experience from the very beginning. As soon as you open the box, you can see a beautiful painting or picture. I don't know how you want to see it. I saw it as a painting. Beautiful work of art. Soru also does something very, very similar. They do like a sun and a moon. It's just so beautiful, so colourful. And the same thing with Bobbies. It gives a very, very relaxed holiday is basically what I feel when I see it. And one thing I have to say, this is a very small thing, but I love the colour pink. And to see the shoebox in this pinkish hue made me very happy. Another thing to mention is that all of the shoes does come with a dust bag. So this is one of them. This is what it looks like. It has a Bobbies at the very, very bottom. And as mentioned before, I have purchased 3 pairs of shoes. The first one that I purchased was Bethany. This is the one that I saw online and has started this whole process. I have followed someone on Instagram, loved her style. The only thing when I wore this is I realized very quickly that it's not my style. Doesn't match with a lot of clothes that I have. Still a very beautiful shoe. I love the double straps. One thing I do have to say with closed shoes with Bobbies, at least just in terms of this pair, I would say, is that they run a little bit small. I'm not sure, it might be the fact that I just don't have bony feet, but my feet was a little squished in here. It wasn't the most comfortable. The leather is very soft, so I don't know, maybe as time goes on, the leather would soften up and then it would be a perfect fit. But if you are worried, it's probably safer just to size up. But this is Bethany. When I was looking at Bethany online, I thought I would be cheeky and have a look at their new in section. And lo and behold, I found a pair and I wanted that one. And this pair is called Noddy. This pair is beautiful. It had the flowers. It is a stunning pair. Kitten heels. I did not know that I was going to be into kitten heels, but here I am. So originally I actually couldn't pull the trigger because these prices are relatively high, and this is before I'd done all the research with Bobbies. Bethany was £136.50 and that was on sale. This one was newly in and this one was £205, which I'm not gonna lie, hard trigger to pull this one. But when I realized that I'd missed the chance, it was all sold out. The regret I had, this is normally when I know I've made a mistake. So I quickly put my email in and I waited until about a month later. They sent me an email saying that it was back in stock, and I bought it and then immediately went out of stock because I bought it. I'm sure they are going to restock it soon. It seems to be a very, very popular one. As I was looking at this on Instagram, they were running an ad, and guess what was the next one? Was Piper. And this one, I love the whole shape. I love the heel. It was nice and big. I also love the heel height. Will give me a decent amount of height. But most of all, I love the colour. They call it marshmallow, which I think it is absolutely perfect. But it's essentially this very lilac, nudish pink, I would say. When my feet gets warm, it does get a bit pinky. So when I wear it, it's hard to distinguish at times. I will give you that. However, if your feet doesn't go red, it is a beautiful colour to wear. It's such a delicate colour, very feminine. I loved it. So this one is also on sale for £129.50. All 3 of these shoes are absolutely stunning. All of, I think apart from the Nozzy, the other 2 shoes, the leather does have a layer of, I would say like plastic. That's a very, very loose way of saying that, but it has a film on it to give it that glossy look. And it works out really, really well for both styles, as you can see here. It's very, very soft leather. All of them have very soft leather, I have to say. I'm actually not very worried about hurting my feet. This one just might be a little bit, just a tad tight for me. So that was the first point. The second point I want to make with these shoes are the soles. None of them are soled. So when you are purchasing these, just bear in mind that the soles are leather, just straight up leather. You cannot walk in leather. So can you see it is a nice fuzzy material, and then they have this plastic. When it arrives, you have to get this soled with a cobbler. Do not walk on leather. You will destroy your shoes. The fastest way to destroying it is literally walking directly on leather. Leather is a very, very soft material. They absorb water, they absorb moisture, and you can't afford to be absorbing those stuff at the sole of your foot. At the moment, I just got these sold because tomorrow's my birthday and I really want to wear it. Well, in terms of like the time of recording it, my birthday is tomorrow. So I really want to wear these into London. So I actually got these sold first. Currently in Timpson's, they are £25. I don't know why I'm saying that. I am the one who hasn't been soling my shoes for a while, so they're £25, so just add that to the final cost and you will have your final cost of the shoes. The last point I want to make with these heels are the sizes. In the nicest way possible, I don't have the boniest feet. It's probably factual at this point. They're fleshy. They got meat on them. Okay, do I have wide feet? I don't know if I got wide feet, but I got fleshy feet. And what that really means is when it comes to wearing these shoes, I've never really had this issue before, which is why I didn't think I had wide feet, but this has made me think. When it comes to this one, it was slightly tight, just ever so slightly tight, especially on the heels. I did struggle to walk ever so slightly, but I am quite confident that the leather would soften because I'm just basing on the rest of the leather. It is quite soft, it is quite pliable. So I did have a feeling that maybe if I just wear it with socks, it might be fine as the leather start molding to my feet. But if you're worried, I would suggest you just to size up when it comes to closed shoes. The other thing I have to mention is that I actually had the same issue with these pair. Now, not necessarily the fact that it hurts my feet, because it absolutely doesn't, but you can see that, you can see a bulge of skin coming out of here. And I don't know exactly how I should see it, but I didn't think I got fat feet, but I guess I do. But if you have, fleshier feet, just bear in mind that that could happen. But at the same time, I would also argue that the leather is so soft, maybe over time, this will soften up and then fit your feet a bit more better. That's also a possibility. But I thought I would just bring that out there. So now we're going to move on to section number 5, which is the potential material cost. I am going to highlight the word potential because this is just my research and I really actually don't know where to find information on this. I've literally just Googled all day. If you are in this field or you know where to find the cost of materials when it comes to shoes, please comment in the section below so that I get educated. But for now, we're just going to go with my notes. Ladies' sandals is roughly about 1 square foot, according to Google. So I'm just going to go for sandals since I got 2 sandals out of the 3. We are going to assume that the materials for this one is going to be 1 square foot to make 1 pair of sandals. Now, they said that in Lisbon and Porto, which I believe Porto was in Portugal, the leathers would actually cost around €10 to 20.41 euros per pound. So I decided to go on the high end of 20.41 euros per pound. I also didn't go for wholesale just because they did mention on their website that they are working in human scale, which I'm not 100% sure what that means, but I am just guessing that it is not mass manufactured. The next thing I found out was that 1 pound of the highest quality of Spanish and Italian authentic real genuine leather will have approximately 6 to 7 square feet. So we're going to take the lower end to make it the most expensive as possible because as I was going through this, I have noticed that £205. Anyway, bear with me. So I took the £20.41, which is the most expensive per pound of leather in Lisbon and Porto, and divided it by 6. Let's assume that one of those will make 6 pairs, will make the lower end of 6 pairs. So that costs €3.4 for the upper leather for each sandal. Now, I have not included the soles. I don't know how much the soles are, but I'm literally just going to double it just to get some kind of numbers. So we got €6.8. The heels I found online, and I really couldn't find the manufactured ones. I can only find like a DIY, and even then it was £6. So we're just gonna add that on. So we're gonna round it to £15 so far, just for the materials. Bear in mind that this does not include the wages, the charities, the logistics, the packagings. It doesn't include all of the administration work. Those all cost money. The other thing to mention as well, they are very, very efficient. They can make 60 pairs per day, which I thought was absolutely insane. I think it just proves the expertise that they actually have, because let's assume that they're working 24 hours. I know they're not. I don't know why I did that actually. Okay, it's in my notes, so we're gonna go for 24 hours, but take this with a grain of salt. Like I said, this whole section is questionable in itself. That means it is 2.5 pairs per hour, which is 48 minutes per pair, and we round it to an hour. But then again, you can also argue that it could be the fact that they make 5 pairs in 5 hours, and that is because they have 5 different sections with 5 different shoes and they all go in the same time. There's also that as well. So as I said, I'm not 100% sure what's the best way to calculate it, but whatever it is, just make sure this is a very incredibly unreliable source. I mean. But there is one thing that we can do when it comes to shoes, and which is compare them to the retail price of other competitors, which in this case, if you're selling shoes for roughly around £200–300, I would say Bobbies are pretty much on par with LK Bennett, Reese shoes, and probably Russell and Bromley. Those are the three brands that comes to mind. Their shoes are absolutely stunning as well, but they are also going to cost you a pretty penny. $299 for something very similar to this. I think it was just one single strap from LK Bennett. I saw it, loved it. But again, $299 for those. But the main thing I want to talk about is the fact that despite the price, the similarity of price, Bobbies is so transparent with everything they have. The fact that they are so invested and so involved into charity work, sustainable fashion, they have no issues showing you the whole process of their making of each pair of shoes. They have no problem sharing the names of the managers for each process. It was a very clear indication that they absolutely love and have a passion of what they do. And because of their transparency and because of their authenticity, honestly, if I have the money, I absolutely would. Would I go and purchase from them again? I would. Is the ultimate truth, because the way I see it is that ideally this is what I would consider as luxury. When you buy something, you want to know that everyone is treated fairly. You want to think that the brand is also playing their part in when it comes to sustainability, when it comes to making sure that all the logistics, all of the carbon footprints are utilized to the absolute minimum. They are absolutely doing their part. And to me, that is what luxury is knowing that you're paying a premium, knowing full well that some of yours might be going towards charity, or at least you know that the company is very much involved into different charity works, and you feel good as a human. At least I feel good about it. That's essentially what I want to say. I think they are absolutely worth it. I know when I started working at the potential material cost, it was looking very downhill, and trust me, I was getting a little worried too. But you really have to think about the other costs involved when it comes to running a company. I think mainly for me, the fact that they are so transparent with everything that they do, at least what it appears on their website, I have to say, I have to give it to them. For that, I do respect them as a company, and I do want to support them. That is my personal opinion. Do you like any of these shoes? I think this is absolutely my favourite. Let me know what your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you next week. Bye!